This isn't as bad as it looks. I was a first grade teacher, and I was really good at writing lesson plans, but I could never follow them. So I won't follow this either, but I will. But thank you for talking about the whole thing, because it is all one gestalt. The altar is life and death. It is all one thing. I hope that by the time I'm finished that you will see that it's all one gestalt. I'm going to have three parts. First, I'm going to talk about William James, famous psychologist, philosopher. He was most famous for writing varieties of religious experience. He was from New England. And he gave a lecture to a group of scientists at Harvard University, I think in 1899, about human immortality, part of the Ingersoll lecture series. It was a big deal then to talk about immortality, even at that time, when science and religion kind of like butted heads. Think of the Carnegie family, for example. They have a show, they're dinosaur bones, right? And you know, they have to believe what the paleontologists say and stuff, but then they go to church and have to pretend that they don't believe in evolution. So that was a conflict for people at that time. Okay, my second part of my talk today will be sharing with you my own out-of-body experience, which was a gift and that I asked for, and someone else's out-of-body experience, which was another gift, great gift. And the last thing that I will do, I will try to replicate the eulogy that I gave for a dear friend of mine who passed a few years ago. He was like a big brother to me, okay? Mark Twain once said, the two most important days of your life are the day that you were born and the day that you figured out why you were born. And I want to talk about hope. Hope is one of these things that could be here, there. You know, we hoped that the altar would work out today, and it did, you see. And the veil that you see there, it goes below and above. And, you know, William James, he used many words: shroud, time mask, canopy, and I use those words too, some canopy, veil, shroud, the place that's in between, okay? The Russian playwright Chekhov, he said that if you have a gun on the wall in the first act, it should be used by the third act, otherwise it had no business being there in the first place. So you see, that's another example of a whole gestalt. A work of art never refers to anything outside of itself. That's why we keep on looking at the Mona Lisa, because we go in the circles, and it's a beautiful thing. It could be a song, it could be a poem, a work of art. These are the things that leak through the veil from up there while we are alive. Per idealistic philosophy like Kant, he said that, and this William James talked a lot about that. Kant said that after we die, our intellect is greater. That the gray matter that was there while we were alive was just a shield, making things hard for us to understand other things. To understand, to finally get to the point where what you know is greater than what you don't know. Language fails, metaphors fail. Why did they go only to a googolplex? Why did they stop? Because it's a measureless thing. I'm going to read you some rhetorical questions to muse your mind and stir your souls. Did Darwin start the beginning of the end with his seeming randomness? Because with immortality, there is no end. Does our temporal life precede both wave and particle in its actual existence as part of a larger consciousness? Is believing in the Holy Trinity pantheistic? Is gray matter itself the only independent variable? Is it less or more limited than something that supposedly dies? I don't even understand that question. The human effigy on top of the royal coffin, called the bier, it goes to God, while the corpse inside of the king stays on earth. Whose idea was that? God's or the king's? Was a googolplex the highest number they could reach? Why did they get tired of counting? I'm going to jump ahead just to read the last two stanzas of my friend's poem, who died a couple of years ago. He was a beat poet, post-beat poet, really cool guy. He came out of the closet before Truman Capote, you know, maybe a little bit after Allen Ginsberg, but way before Truman Capote. Walt Curtis from Portland, Oregon, the most amazing man. He said in his poem, "We all begin again, no matter what sorrow, tiredness of the blood. There is still time for something beautiful to happen. I myself believe the dead know this. They watch with our eyes. They touch with our fingers. And love is everywhere at once throughout the earth." Yeah. Okay, I'm going to jump to part two, okay? I lost my father the year after I retired in 2015, and within a week I had lost my aunt, my mother's older sister, and my father's older sister, all within a week. And at my aunt Lucia's funeral in San Diego, she was a Navy nurse, and she's the face of my first memory as a human being on the plane coming from Mexico City when I was 2.5. I sat on her lap and looked up at her placid, mystical face, my Aunt Lucy. And at her funeral, they told us that she had been asking for herself to go because she was so sick, but her mother told her, "It's not time yet. I'm sorry, honey, it's not time yet." And my Aunt Lucy was in her 90s, you know, but she wanted to go, but her mother told her, "It's not time yet." But she went pretty soon after that. I went back to my hotel room and I asked, "Please show me the other side. Please, I promise I won't be afraid. Just show me a little bit of the other side." And so I started to sleep, and this is the out-of-the-body experience. I wasn't asleep. Of course, I wasn't really awake in the usual sense, but I wasn't asleep. I turned into a kind of a rocket ship. I just, no, you know, language fails. The definition of a preposition is that it is a word that describes place or direction, right? Above, below, through, beside, you know, about, or, you know. But I was going so fast that no preposition could describe what was happening to me. It was phenomenological, okay? Then I had a dream, a parable dream after this experience going through space. And I saw a place that looked like, think of Salvador Dali, you know, a cliff, really, really stark, peaceful place. And there was this cliff, and there was a ladder. And so I started to climb the ladder, and as I climbed up, the rungs on the ladder broke below me. So I just climbed to the next one, and it broke below me until I got to the top. And there was no ladder there. But then about 4 women, I think that they were my ancestors from Mexico probably, and they helped me back down. Somehow I got back down, and they just, as if to tell me it just wasn't time for me yet. Okay. Somebody else's out-of-body experience was after she passed, and about 4 years ago, when the infirmity was getting worse, I said, you know, we are really souls with bodies. We're not bodies with souls. We are souls with bodies. And she said, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, a couple days before the October memorial, 1 or 2 days before that, I wake up and I go to my dining room and I see the clock that had been on the wall, a Swedish clock from IKEA with a blue circle written. It was not on the wall anymore. It was on the table of my dining room. The batteries had been stripped out, and the little thing that made the hands, move had been stripped. I found it on the floor. I didn't take it off the wall. My cat didn't take it off the wall. It was on the table when I woke up. And this was, 1 or 2 days before the memorial service that was here at College Heights in October. That was a great gift as well. That's not the gift that I asked for, but maybe I did, in some roundabout way, ask for that. And what a great gift that was. Okay, I'm going to go to the third part. My friend Walt Curtis, he passed. He's the same age as Dylan, and he passed about 2 years ago, and he was like my big brother. And I'm going to read to him, Walt, this is the poem that I wrote for you. I haven't written a poem since 1968, practically. And the first stanza is the chant from today. And I'll read you 3 more stanzas after that. Everglow of a morning song, afternoon endure, evening capture the brightest star, ever day return. Carry me to a farther world, light the journey long, everglow of a morning song, every day return. Everglow shine upon a shroud, every day return. Gleaming, landing below the night and beyond the moon. Everglow of a morning song, day and nighttime too. Bring me back from a farther world, every day return. Walt, when you were alive, we argued like brothers. You were a wise guy, but sometimes you were just a wise guy. But you always saw something more than I did, and more than all the people around you. You were a great poet. You looked to the horizon, but now you have to look harder, don't you? Horizon's not the right word if there isn't one. You're in a place, I'll be there too sometime. I want to follow you. It's like a valley. It is so big. There is no horizon. Is valley the right word? And there's a ridge above the valley, and a train is coming on a track. You're on the train. And I know it's easier to know that where the train is going, there is never going to be an end. It just will always go. But how comforting to understand, to feel, to know that from where the train came, it didn't start at a place, because where it came from, it always was. Thank you.